Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would look into an interesting topic that's always been burning in the back of my mind, which has been gaming with others. When I was younger, many people on the playground used to say that if you played video games, you were a loner, you were a loser, you had no friends. And I think it's changed dramatically since then. Obviously, today we have this whole esports community, which is huge, and I think that um, back then, back when I was a kid, we didn't have that type of thing. People were still thinking that Dungeons and Dragons and was a dork thing to do, and people who played Magic the Gathering were a bunch of nerds, and this whole idea of nerd culture hadn't quite caught on mainstream yet, as it has in some cases now. We have a lot more people playing these games, which is great. And I think it sort of has shown that society has expanded more and opened up their eyes to these different types of media. But I thought I'd just talk about this idea of gaming with others because I actually got into gaming because of the social aspects. My first attempt with games were actually from friends, right? So I had one of my best friend when I was growing up. He was very lucky. He often got most gaming systems, him and his brothers. And so I was often over at his place before school, after school, weekends, playing these games. And there was this idea of camaraderie, right? Because we'd play games together and we would experience stories and these vast worlds that video game media has allowed us to experience. And we got to play through it and experience it together. And it's very similar, very nuanced to how perhaps people who are in book clubs might feel with other people reading the same books or movies or TV shows and things. So, but we experienced that as well as with video games too. And so I really enjoyed it. And I actually have found that video games have helped expand my social network, have helped make deeper connections, not only with friends, but family even. And I thought I'd get into a little bit about that. Because I think it's a very important, critical point that both sometimes the media forgets and even people who are the naysayers of video games. Right? Video gamers nowadays, especially, are far more social, especially with online media, than they ever have been before. Right? You can play Rocket League and be paired up with somebody from halfway across the globe, right? And become friends with them through the internet. Right? This is a fantastic way to meet new people, to become more social. I think it's great. And so for me, it all starts, as I said, back when I was a kid. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of video games. We played a lot more board games when I was a kid. But my friend Mikey actually had a lot of the video game systems. And as I said, I used to go over there all the time. And I have so many great memories with him and his brothers playing these games, experiencing these things. I mean, one of the best ones that come to mind was watching him play Final Fantasy, right? I mean, there's a whole bunch of Final Fantasies out there, but I'm pretty sure it was Final Fantasy X, matter of fact, that he was playing. And just, even though I wasn't playing, and I didn't own a PlayStation 3 when he was playing, I think it was on PlayStation 3 at the time, I didn't have a PlayStation 3. And so I was living this story through his gameplay. And of course, my friend was really great and kind. He'd ask me if I wanted to play, and I'd say, "Oh, no, you play." I'm just happy to sit back and watch and just experience it with you, because the story is such a dramatic and beautiful thing, and Final Fantasy is great. So I have such great memories, and us laughing and cracking open a pop and discussing these when we were kids, right? And laughing about it. And coming up with strategies and hidden things that we could find or open up. It was a lot of fun. And it inspired us and gave us imagination. I remember also playing with Mikey and his brothers things like Spiral, Spiral the Dragon, on the original PlayStation. That was a lot of fun. For me, one of the few times that I would say, yeah, yeah, give me the controller, I want to play, was definitely with Grand Theft Auto. I don't remember how old I was, and I don't even know how it even happened, but they had gotten a copy of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Okay, if you never played it, play it. I highly recommend it. It is the one of the I have one of the best games that I've ever played, and it could be just nostalgia because obviously the graphics aren't that great and they are dated. The graphics are dated compared to what you see now. But the story in that was just amazing. I remember having so much fun, and I would play the Grand Theft Auto, hours and hours. And the funny thing is my friend Mikey was not a really big fan of Grand Theft Auto, but I was. Having the cops come get me, blowing people up, causing mayhem. I just loved it. Another game that I remember my friend not really liking a lot, but I did, and I played a good amount of it as well, was Driver, right? I thought that was an excellent game. I believe it was on the PlayStation 1, right? So much fun. Another game that just popped into my mind now was the Tony Hawk skater games that they had a whole series of them. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, they were also on the PlayStation 1 up to, who knows, I forget now, but there was a lot of them. And in the beginning, my friend Mikey wasn't too interested in them, but his brothers were, especially his the middle brother was very interested in them, and I used to sit there and play with him, and we'd laugh for hours about him doing crazy stunts, and then I would say, he'd fall off the skateboard, and he'd go, and I say, oh, he smacked his head, now his blood's gushing all over the place, and his arm's all bent all over, he's all like mangled, and we'd laugh about how this guy's being completely blown apart. It was fun. There was that social aspect that I think, people don't often think about. And obviously another thing with video games is these are all sort of solo or one-player type games, but there's a whole genre of fighting games or games that are two-player, three-player, co-op, whole bunch of co-op. And just that idea itself is playing with somebody, laughing, right? I remember playing again with my friend Mikey and his brothers, Soul Calibur, just laughing our ass off about some stupid move, some cheap move, some environmental effect that came in and knocked us flying, and there was this wonderful fun. And even with my own family, so I said I could bring families together, right? I'm the oldest in my family, and I have a younger sister. She was the middle child, and then there's my youngest sister, the youngest. And all three of us, very different people, but we all would gather around to play things like Animal Crossing, to play things like the Pokemon Stadium, or X-Men Dimensions on the GameCube, or Injustice: God Among Us, even Mario Kart. Like, we would play these games for hours, laughing, bringing together our family. 3 kids sitting together, laughing and playing. And, I have so many great memories with my sisters, and obviously my friend, over this stuff. Even my own, like my father. I think I might have mentioned before, my dad used to let me play Mario 64 when he was sick, and we would sit there, he'd watch me, and he'd help me once in a while with things in there. But he was a big player of Pokemon Stadium, the original on Nintendo 64. And he would, pick all these Pokemon, we'd all play and battle, and we had a lot of fun. And I remember playing these games and having these memories, especially now because my dad's no longer with us. They're precious memories, and they were over a video game. And that's something people often forget, is that video games are highly social. They can form an integral part not only of who you are as a person, but they can give you not only joy but such memories that it's only now, for example, with my father, that I realized, geez, there was a lot of fun times that we played these games. And now these games have a whole new elevation to them, right? because of that memory. Um, you know, another great one is my youngest sister. So the youngest, she's a big video game player, way more than my other sister is. But we would play for hours, her and I, on the whole Uncharted series. We played together. We would play Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby and X and Y and fight each other and compete, and bringing so much more enjoyment to video games. And it's actually funny. I actually people say, "What's one of your favorite types of video games?" Well, I like fighting games for a reason, right? My favorites of all are obviously RPGs, but I really like fighters. And the main reason why I like fighting games is because there's that co-op element. I'm not another thing too. I'm not a fanboy, a console fanboy, but I really like Nintendo because they always fostered that kind of couch co-op. Play together, play with your family, play with your friends. Like that, I love that, and it provides you so much enjoyment in life to have that and share these experiences with other people, especially if they're in the same room, so you can crack a beer open or have some chips and laugh all night long. That's the fun part of life. Um, I'm very lucky that that my wife has been open to playing games. Growing up, she played a little bit of games, dabbled in some video games, but not a lot. My wife's sister is much more the video game player. But my wife and I, like even today, for example, we played about 2 hours worth of Civilization 6. I've been a Civ fan for a very long time. So I play Civ on the PC. But like, we love it. And my wife has gotten so enthralled in the strategies and the different people and figuring things out. She is this excitement, and we sit here for hours, days, right? I mean, we have a kid, so we obviously don't sit here, and neglect her. But I mean, like, we anytime we get, she's in a nap. She goes to bed early. She's having quiet time where she's sort of playing by herself and doesn't want us, which is surprising. More and more as she's doing that, she's getting older, she wants to be by herself. It's a good and a bad thing. You feel hurt, but it gives us time to have adult time. And we play this game and we're just loving it. And it's that connection. My wife and I have something that we do together and laugh. My wife and I play Sims. I've been a Sim player for a very long time, and I at one point was very addicted to it. My wife was too. And so actually there was a time when we were sort of dating and we lived in an apartment together. We played for almost a week, and we made this entire family and all this. Like, it was very fun. Another game we've been playing more recently, and it's a game that's very challenging, is Divinity Original Sin. And originally it was a PC game, and I never played on the PC version of this game, but I bought it. My wife got it for me for Christmas last year, to play together, and it is tough, exceedingly difficult. But we had fun. We had to restart many times because we were making such stupid errors, but it was fun. We would laugh, right? And then we go, "Oh my God, can you believe we just died to this stupid thing? We haven't even got out of the damn boat yet," and laugh about it. And yeah, it's frustrating. Of course it is. I mean, and that's a part of the fun, right, is this frustration. But then we've gotten pretty far in it. I mean, we haven't got our collars off yet, but if you haven't played Divinity Original Sin, you have your magic, and you have the ability to manipulate mana. And there's collars that they put on you to sort of mute your powers, so you don't have access to it, to the source anymore. And eventually those come off and you get your full powers again. But anyways, we haven't got that far, partly because you get sidetracked and we laugh and find new things, and it's enjoyable. Another one is my wife and I are big Pokemon fans, right? I've always been a Pokemon fan. I was here from the very get-go playing Pokemon. My wife never had, so when she met me, she kind of sort of got introduced to it, and she loves it. And part of it's because of her own nature is to collect things, and that's Pokemon for you. So she fell in love with it, and it was so fun because we would sit beside each other, before we had our daughter, and all night playing. And then, recently with Sword and Shield, my wife has a Switch Lite because she prefers the handhelds, and she enjoys it, plays for hours. So, and it's that bond, right? It's something we're bonding over, and it provides you with hours of entertainment and enjoyment and memories, right? That you won't get anywhere else. I think a lot of it is because it's an interaction as well. Video games, unlike movies, which are more passive, video games are very active. You take an active role in it, and so you feel more connected, more immersed into the world. And sharing that with somebody else is fun and memorable and social. So anytime somebody tells you that video games are not a social thing, you can tell them to come to see my video or any other people's videos on YouTube where they talk about this. Video games are not just for people who are loners, who like to sit in a dungeon in the basement and do that. No, these are people who are highly connected, who are very social people, and who are doing it for memories and having fun. So I know personally with my children, I know my daughter already is starting to be interested in video games because she's seen us doing it. I can't wait to introduce her to things like Mario 64 or Pokemon, right? Something simple. Mario Kart, right? The whole family gathering around and playing a round of Mario Kart, I think would be fun, right? My wife and I are also big board game players, and D&D and things, and I can't wait. It's funny, my wife jokes we're going to have kids just so we can play board games. Family board game night, or D&D, or Friday Night Magic at our house with our kids, right? We are looking so forward into having these opportunities and memories and interconnectedness. So I think that's where I'm going to leave that, though. I think it's important, though, that you understand that video games are fun. I just wanted to kind of share all this with you, that gaming with others is so cool and so important. And I just wanted to share this out because I heard actually on the radio somebody was talking about video games and how they're a bunch of loners, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So that was kind of the inspiration for this video. But no, I think it's been fantastic. And I am a scientist, and there has been a number of articles that show that video game players do have cognitive benefits, are more social, and so on. So there is some neuroscientific evidence for playing video games. So, but anyways, with that, of course, with moderation. So, but with that, I will let you guys go, and I look forward to see you guys next time. And I hope you all like, share, and subscribe, and please come back for more. I can't wait to talk to you. Take care. Bye-bye.